Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is a beautiful day here in Georgia, and if you're just now joining us, well, we do a little bit of everything on this channel. We do automotive, we do DIY, we do pinball, we do machining, but today it is all about pinball, and we've got a lot to go over, so let's get it. Now, if you guys haven't been keeping up, we just have finally gotten some gameplay of X-Men. We had the nice little trailer that they provided, and they showed really good shots, super smooth, but then we get hit with the gameplay. Oh, we got a lot to talk with that, and did I make a mistake? I'm not going to quite say yes or no yet on that. And then we've got Avatar. Holy crap. You talk about amazing. You talk about beautiful. Boys and girls, it is a beautiful game, and we're all going to go over it. Now, X-Men. Wow, you talk about a range of emotions over a week period. Definitely went from the greatest thing, sliced bread, to probably the worst game. I mean, that's what you feel like when you read Pinside and things like that. Honestly, I still think it's a great layout. And we did see the gameplay of it. Now, I will say, the gameplay was rough to start with. After seeing the gameplay, I think the biggest thing that everybody has mainly complained about has been the music.
I don't think you can do that.
Yeah, we're not gonna.
And a lot of people have issues with the animation and stuff, which personally, I didn't really have an issue with animations. I thought it was, I mean, it's based on the comic book series, and I felt like they, I think it did pretty well on that. I mean, I didn't really see an issue with that. The one thing that I did see that I'm afraid that I'm hoping is not the case, but there seemed to be some super tight shots. And I know there's been a lot of debate. There's Drain Monster, thing of that nature. There is definitely some risky stuff in this game, but that's what I kind of like about it. It's so different. I mean, you've got that pop bumper down there that really, there's actually two pop bumpers, and they can really knock it pretty quick down to the drain if you ain't careful. Even being careful, I mean, it's a pop bumper. That's definitely going to be interesting. And then you've got the mini playfield. Honestly, I think the mini playfield plays way faster than I thought it would. And it seems a lot more, well, dangerous than I initially thought it would be. But I like that. That's kind of freaking cool. And I still think the ball pass, when the shots are hit, are pretty neat and amazing. You're just seeing that double turnaround. It just is weird doing that. Some of the crossover shots. And I think it really is going to be a good game. But it did concern me seeing the short ball times with guys that are that good. Let me just put you back to when Scooby came out. So when Scooby got announced, and I know this is off track a little bit, but when Scooby got announced and they showed the gameplay of it, it was like, oh man, this game is so easy. It's too easy. And then we get the games and everybody's like, holy crap, this is hard. This is way harder than we thought it would be. So normally that's how I think your gameplay would normally kind of go when you see it, is when you see somebody play it that designed the game, is generally easier than when it gets to your house or into an arcade, and then you find out, holy crap, this is way harder than they made it look. Well, they've been designing it, they've been working on it, and they've been playing it a bunch, so they are good at it. The one shot to me that really sticks out the most is having a lot of rejections, at least it seemed, was that left sentinel shot, the shot to the left side of the sentinel head. I'm hoping that maybe they kind of rushed the stream and didn't set the game up properly, because you'll be surprised at getting the right pitch and stuff of that nature makes a huge difference. Now, I'll say too, I feel like this was kind of a more relaxed stream, and whether or not that was intentional or not, I think it kind of actually hurt them because, well, they weren't able to play as good. You have one guy dressed up completely, which I believe was Zach, completely dressed up as Wolverine. And then you had Jack that was Cyclops that, I'm sure didn't help much in a sense. But at the same time, I think if you look at the game still, it looks like it's going to shoot fantastic. I think it's going to be extremely challenging. I think it's going to be difficult. And it's definitely going to be some risk in there. And I'm really impressed with the layout still. I still go back saying I think this layout is freaking fantastic. The music, well, I'm really kind of up in the air on. I'm not necessarily against it or for it. I mean, it's okay. It honestly reminds me of a video arcade for some reason. And then as far as the animations, I have zero issues with it. It portrays to me what a comic book portrays in the comic series. So I don't see any issue with that. Now, I am curious how you guys feel about it, because it's, there has been, it seems like it's kind of been 50-50, I think, still. Like, I think more in the beginning, it was heavily towards everybody loved the game, thought it was freaking fantastic. but then some people got disappointed by the stream. And I think mainly it was, maybe because of the ball times. I mean, when you got to looking towards the end, when they actually got to playing and got on it, it seemed like the ball times were very good. Shots seemed very good. Like I said, that the one left sentinel shot was the one that really only kind of concerned me, where it seemed like it maybe was going to be a tight shot. Other than that, I thought it looked fantastic. But now let's talk about Avatar, because holy moly. I don't know what else to say other than it's straight up gorgeous. And for what I understand, this is the first time the person that has done the art on this has done any type of pinball stuff. Holy moly. Not to mention the designer himself is technically his first pinball machine. So we've got some great talent that is coming into the game. And I mean, this game looks pretty awesome. Now, it's more traditional, but it does have some stuff going on in the back, especially with under the playfield, playfield. However you want to say it. I think that's pretty cool, but I don't know if I'd be a big fan of that. I just haven't really played any games with playfields underneath them. I just don't know if I would get into it too much. But overall, the game looks fantastic. The art package is amazing. The one thing that I'll say that's JJP does, and I feel like there's one company that does better than them at this, and that's their assets. And the only company I think that does better than them is Spooky. As far as assets, in my opinion, nobody touches. And then I feel like you have JJP, which does a great job, and they really do a good job of immersing you into that world. And that's what, I'm not an Avatar person. I watched it before, the first one. I don't know how many there are. What is it, 2 or 3, 4? I don't know. But the game does feel very immersive with the lighting effects, and you got to give JJP credit there too. They're really good at their lighting effects. Just a complete immersion into the game and into the world. And that huge screen on the back, I mean, you get so much that you can do with that. And that's the nice thing that I like that they're doing with this, is they're getting more movie clips in there, more stuff from the movie that's just sitting up there. So you're getting more into the game. You're getting into that world. Everybody says the world under glass, but really it's just the world in front of you, because you're completely encompassed at that point. I think the game is probably going to be a very good game, and probably going to be my favorite JJP game that has come out since Wonka. The game itself seems to bring me in. I didn't feel that with any other game. I didn't feel that with Elton John. I didn't feel that with God. I thought Godfather was kind of cool, but it just still didn't want to pull me in. I do feel like this game's pulling me in, and I don't know why, and I really want to get my hands on it and play it. But the game, is simply stunning. And the art package, I mean, we've got a lot of great artists in pinball, let's be honest. And we've got people across all spectrums. And this is beautiful work. I mean, the back glass is beautiful. What little bit's there, that's the other thing. You don't really get much of a back glass with the JJP, but you do get that massive screen. But what's there is gorgeous. And honestly, really love it. And with the rad cows being on the LE and the CE, well, that's a big plus, because I am a big rad cow person. I really like the way they look. We've got them on the WAS. It's beautiful work. I mean, it especially when it comes to artwork like that, I feel like the rad cows do very well at. And when you get to stuff like with Godzilla and things of that nature, those type of games, I feel like the Fool does best for those. But when you get into something that is more lifelike, I say lifelike, but more along that lines, I feel like the rad cows really make the art pop, and it looks amazing. Really, the only thing more beautiful than that is Spooky's Butter Cabinet, and that's a whole nother deal. But Avatar, I think there's some high hopes for. And everybody, let's address the price issue that everybody talks about. Well, yes, JJP's high, but so is Stern. Most of the companies are high, but at the same time, we all have to step back and realize, and just look at everything else. I mean, we've had huge increases in gas prices and food cost and wood cost, metal cost. I mean, I know that because I'm in the machining industry, and we buy metal and material and plastics, and all that stuff has gotten crazy over the last few years. So how can you expect a company that their primary product is wood and metal and, and plastic, how can you expect them to keep the prices the same? I mean, unfortunately, they can't, and I understand that. Yeah, it sucks because I would love to be able to afford every game that comes out that I really like, especially in the $15,000 range. I can't. Okay, but the reality is, it's a lot like a vehicle. I mean, you can't buy every vehicle you like, but I mean, some people can. The same thing. Some people can buy all the pinballs they like, but that's just the fact of the matter. These are not, they're toys, but there's a lot to these games, and so while we complain about the price, I mean, I kind of understand it to an extent, as much as I hate to say that. But I understand it. It's just everything's so high. And all I think this week has been actually pretty awesome. I mean, we're getting 2 great games, it looks like, coming out, and very soon we're going to have a 3rd game that we're not still sure what it's going to be like for sure, but it does look like it's going to be an awesome game from the sculpts and stuff we've seen and the artwork. So it is a very exciting time again in pinball. At least in my opinion, it is. I think it's great. I know there's a lot that seem like that some of these games are kind of blah, but I think they're fantastic. I'm glad to see this. We're getting outside of the box. We're getting those different things that we need, and just more creativity involved in it, it seems to be. So super happy with that. And this is what I love to see. Now, guys, I'm curious to know, are any of you going to buy any games? What game are you going to buy? I'm going to be holding off for a little bit because I'm still waiting to see what Alice is going to be. I'm really wanting to see what Spooky has coming up, which should be December, because I really love my Spooky games and love everything about them. So I'm really holding off to see what's going to come out. Who knows? Maybe we'll get something good, but that's going to do it for this one. We'll catch you next time.